Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to review one of the most epic fight between Xiao and Shan. We're going to focus on Battle Through the Heavens Season 7 Episode 2, which is called The Defeat of the Almost Emperor Grand Cultivator Dao. This video is novel-based explanation video scenes will not match with story. So let's get started. This chapter is the climax of the war between Xiao, the main character, and Shan, the leader of the Misty Cloud sect, who killed Xiao's father and tried to destroy his clan. They have been fighting for a long time, but this is their final battle. They are both in midair, surrounded by flames and clouds, and they are ready to unleash their ultimate attacks. Let's take a closer look at the scenes. Scene 1. The sky above the Misty Cloud Mountain. Xiao and Shan are facing each other in midair, surrounded by flames and clouds. In the scene, we see the two rivals staring at each other with intense hatred and determination. They exchange some words that show their motivation and their confidence. Xiao says that this is the final showdown between him and Shan, and that he has to win no matter what. He says this because he wants to avenge his father, who was killed by Shan 3 years ago. He also wants to restore the honor of his clan, which was almost wiped out by Shan's sect. He also wants to protect his friends and allies, who have supported him throughout his journey. He also wants to prove himself as a powerful fighter, who can overcome any obstacle. Shan says that Xiao is a little bastard who destroyed his sect and killed his disciples. He says that he will pay for his crimes with his life. He says this because he hates Xiao for ruining his plans and ambitions. He also hates him for challenging his authority and status as the leader of the Misty Cloud sect. He also hates him for being stronger than him despite being younger and less experienced. Xiao says that Shan is the one who started this war, and that he is the one who deserves to die. He says this because he wants to expose Shan's hypocrisy and cruelty. He also wants to justify his actions and show that he is not the aggressor but the defender. Shan says that Xiao is nothing but a trash who relied on external forces to gain strength. He says that he is not worthy of being his opponent. He says this because he wants to belittle Xiao and show that he is superior to him. He also wants to deny Xiao's achievements and talents. He also wants to hide his fear and insecurity. Xiao says that he has something that Shan doesn't have, the will to surpass himself and overcome any obstacle. He says that he has the fire of determination in his heart. He says this because he wants to show his confidence and courage. He also wants to show his growth and development as a fighter. He also wants to show his passion and spirit. Shan says that Xiao's will is pathetic and that it can't match his decades of cultivation and experience. He says that Xiao's fire is puny and that it can't compare to his majestic clouds. He says this because he wants to mock Xiao and show that he is arrogant and ignorant. He also wants to show his power and prestige as a veteran fighter. He also wants to show his pride and ego. Xiao says that enough talk, and that they should end this once and for all. He says this because he wants to end this conflict and settle their score. He also wants to stop wasting time and energy on words. He also wants to show his readiness and eagerness for the fight. Scene 2. Xiao and Shan charge at each other, unleashing their full power. They clash in a huge explosion of fire and clouds that shakes the whole mountain. In the scene, we see the two rivals launching their strongest attacks at each other. They use their full power and create a huge impact that affects the whole mountain. Xiao uses his Angry Buddha Lotus Flame, which is a fusion of 3 different kinds of flames: the Green Lotus Core Flame, which is a rare flame that can enhance one's speed and agility, the Fallen Heart Flame, which is a deadly flame that can corrode one's soul, and the Bone Chilling Flame, which is a cold flame that can freeze one's blood. Shan uses his Cloud Breaking Palm, which is a palm strike that can generate a powerful shockwave of cloud energy. The cloud energy can form various shapes and effects, such as blades, hammers, or storms. Xiao says that this is Shan's strongest attack, and that it can shatter mountains and split the sky. He says this because he wants to acknowledge Shan's strength and show that he is not underestimating him. He also wants to show his excitement and challenge for the fight. Shan says that this is Xiao's final trump card, and that it is a terrifying flame that can burn anything to ashes. He says this because he wants to acknowledge Xiao's strength and show that he is not overestimating him. He also wants to show his fear and caution for the fight. Xiao says that he has something that can counter Shan's attack, and that it is the most powerful flame technique he has ever learned. He says this because he wants to show his confidence and skill in using his flame. He also wants to show his gratitude and respect for his teacher, Yao Lao, who taught him this technique. Shan says that he has something that can resist Xiao's attack, and that it is the most durable armor he has ever created. He says this because he wants to show his confidence and skill in using his cloud energy. He also wants to show his pride and satisfaction in his own creation. Xiao says that this is their last exchange, and that the winner will be decided by this blow. He says this because he wants to show his determination and resolve to end the fight. He also wants to show his willingness and readiness to accept the outcome. Shan says that this is their final confrontation, and that the loser will be decided by this blow. He says this because he wants to show his determination and resolve to end the fight. He also wants to show his refusal and reluctance to accept the outcome. Scene 3. The fire and clouds collide in a deafening roar that echoes across the land. The fire lotus engulfs the cloud palm and continues to advance towards Shan. The cloud armor cracks under the pressure of the flame and begins to melt away. Shan's face shows fear and disbelief as he realizes he is doomed. In the scene, we see the result of the collision between the two attacks. The Fire Lotus overpowers the Cloud Palm and breaks through the Cloud Armor. Shan realizes that he has lost and faces his imminent death. Xiao says that he did it, and that he broke through Shan's armor and defeated him. He says this because he wants to express his relief and joy at winning the fight. He also wants to confirm his victory and celebrate his achievement. Shan says that no, and that this can't be happening. He says that Xiao broke through his armor and defeated him. He says this because he wants to express his shock and despair at losing the fight. He also wants to deny his defeat and lament his failure. Xiao shouts at Shan, saying that this is for his father, his clan, his friends, and himself. He says this because he wants to express his anger and hatred towards Shan for killing his father and trying to destroy his clan. He also wants to express his love and loyalty towards his friends who supported him throughout his journey. He also wants to express his pride and honor for himself for achieving his goal. Shan screams at Xiao, saying nothing but a loud no. He says this because he has nothing else to say or do but to accept his fate. He also has no one else to blame or thank but himself for his actions. Scene 4. The Fire Lotus explodes in a blinding flash of light that engulfs Shan completely. A mushroom cloud rises from the center of the blast, marking the end of the battle and the war. Xiao floats in the air, exhausted but victorious. He looks down at the ruined Misty Cloud Mountain and smiles faintly. In the scene, we see the aftermath of the explosion between the two attacks. The Fire Lotus consumes Shan completely and creates a mushroom cloud that symbolizes the end of the war. Xiao survives the blast and floats in the air, looking at the scene below him. Xiao feels a mix of emotions: relief, joy, sadness, guilt, and exhaustion. He feels relief because he has finally avenged his father and restored his clan's honor. He feels joy because he has fulfilled his promise and protected his friends. He feels sadness because he has killed many people and caused much destruction. He feels guilt because he wonders if he could have done things differently or better. He feels exhaustion because he has used up all his energy and suffered many injuries. He looks down at the Misty Cloud Mountain, which is now a wasteland of fire and smoke. He sees no sign of life or movement there. He wonders if anyone survived or escaped from there. He smiles faintly, because he knows that he has won the war that lasted for 3 years. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.